What's going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne, and thank you for joining me in another video. Today we're checking out a car I'm very excited about. This is the 2024 BMW i5 M60. Of course, it's xDrive. We got all-wheel drive. You have a dual motor setup in this car. It's amazing, pumping out 593 horsepower, 549 pound-feet of torque. And if you hit this e-boost level here, that torque goes up to 605 pound-feet of torque. This car moves 0 to 60 in about 3.4 seconds. It's an insane piece of machinery. And quite frankly, if you ask me, I think BMW is building the best EVs on the planet. And I'll get back to you guys on why I say that in just a bit. But first, I want to cover a little bit more about the specs. So your range on this car, you're looking at about 260 miles. Not the best range, but it is something that you can get around town in. You're not taking road trips in this thing, but it's quite an amazing machine, right? Fast charging capability, you can get from 10% to around 80% in 30 minutes, or 9 hours using a level 2 charger, to get to that full charge. Now, in terms of your battery, you're looking at an 82.1 kilowatt hour battery. Of course, that's been placed at the lowest point of the vehicle to help with that handling. After all, BMWs are known to be the ultimate driving machine. Let's go ahead, full throttle. This thing just takes off. And I love the sounds of this EV. Sounds composed by Hans Zimmer. If you're a movie buff, you know exactly who that is. But this is one of the coolest EVs I've driven in quite some time, if ever. I'm just going to be honest with you. So let's talk about why I said I think BMW builds the best EVs on the planet. Let's just start off with the basics. Even though this is an EV version of the 5 Series, it doesn't look all wonky and crazy. Like, what is it with the EVs on the market? Even when manufacturers make good-looking cars, the EV variant has to look crazy. I'm looking at you, Mercedes-Benz. A lot of manufacturers put out EVs that just look absolutely horrendous. This just looks like a 5 Series, and that's what I like about it, right? So BMW, they do have a few electric vehicles. You have the iX, right? That one looks a little different, but then you do have the i4, which looks like a normal car. You have the i7, and then you have the i5, right? So a lot of their EVs, they just look like normal BMWs, and I appreciate that. I never understood why the designers say, oh, this is an EV, so let's make it look like an electric car. Let's make it look crazy. This just looks like a BMW with subtle design cues. So up front, of course, we have the large kidney grille, which is traditional on BMW. Of course, this one is optioned out with the Shadowline spec. That's also giving you the LED outline around the kidney grills. You have the traditional headlamps. They're LED everything up front, your turning signals, high beam and low beam. And of course, you have some functional vents up front as well for cooling. But from the exterior, this looks like a normal 5 Series. Now, I did take some coworkers out to lunch in this car, and they didn't know it was electric till after we started moving, because it looks like a normal car. And that's what I think a lot of manufacturers should strive to do. Stop making EVs look absolutely terrible. Because when you see a car that looks like that, you just wonder, what type of person is it that buys a car that looks that ugly and they think it's okay, right? That's not the case with the i5. This is an extremely nice looking vehicle. Coming to the side profile, again, traditional BMW proportions, right? The 5 Series is a little bit larger come this generation compared to the previous generation, so this one's a little bit larger as well. But overall, the styling of the 5 Series, the styling of the i5, it looks extremely nice. We do have large 21-inch machined wheels. They just look crisp to the overall looks of this vehicle. I took this car to show it to somebody. First thing they said was, look at those wheels, right? You have 6-piston calipers up front. That's going to give you a lot of stopping power. After all, these EVs are heavy, even though BMW hides the weight very well. I believe this car weighs 5,250 pounds, right? So it is a heavy vehicle, but they somehow managed to hide the weight extremely well. So you're looking at a wheelbase that's about 117 inches long, right? So it's bigger than the outgoing generation. And I believe the car is 1.5 or 1.4 inches wider than the previous Gen 5 Series. So it's giving you more room there. But overall, I just like the subtle design cues that we get in BMWs. They're not as dramatic when it comes to styling in terms of something Mercedes-Benz would do. but it's still a car that screams class with just having subtle design lines all over the car's bodywork. I really like the simplicity that BMW has been known for. They've been doing it for decades, and they are experts at that, in my opinion. Again, we have the carbon fiber M-style side view mirrors with the shadow line spec around the window surrounds, so that's going to black out your window surrounds. Contrasts extremely well against that gray paint work as well. Now, coming to the rear of the vehicle, you'll notice that we do have, again, its simplicity. You have those thin light blades for tail lamps. They're LED, of course, and then your reverse lamp is located at the bottom of the vehicle, and then you have a rear diffuser there as well. But again, it's just a simple, subtle statement that the design language makes on this car, and I absolutely love it. Now, trunk space, you're looking at about 17 cubic feet of storage, which is typical of a vehicle in this segment, right? I believe the standard gas-powered 5 Series has a little bit more trunk storage, but again, this one is going to get the job done, right? Now, in terms of handling, you're getting that BMW handling, meaning that quality handling BMW is known for. It's extremely precise. So not only is this car an EV, it still feels like a BMW to its core, right? So you're not getting lost in chasing after one aspect of having an electric vehicle with forgetting, what the mantra is for the brand, right? They still chased after having a vehicle that handles exceptionally well. So I really appreciate that about this car. I also noticed that, of course, we get that adaptive M suspension. Since you do have the M badges located on this vehicle, it's not the full fat M5, but you do get that adaptive M suspension, and of course, just that smooth ride quality. Now, I also noticed that on sharper turns, you can really feel that rear axle steering. When rear axle steering first came out, you had to question if a car had it. You had to question if a car had it, but nowadays, in this car, once turning it, you're like, oh, okay, they definitely put rear axle steering in here. You can feel it. It's almost like you're wrapping yourself around the corner. It's extremely effective in tight situations. I really like that about this vehicle. Sound quality. Again, crisp and quiet in this interior. The only thing you really hear are those Hans Zimmer noises, especially when you hit that boost paddle behind the steering wheel. Let me go ahead and hit that and see what that 605 pound-feet of torque feels like. Let's go. Goodness gracious. So, so that acceleration is it's raw, intense acceleration. You have to warn people before you do it. But that boost is something else. It's incredible. So I guess I should talk about the interior. We'll go ahead and get to that. Uh, First thing right off the bat, I will say that these are vegan leather seats. They feel like the real thing. These are the highest quality vegan leather seats that I've ever tested. You can get leather in here if you want, but the vegan leather looks good. I do love this cranberry or this red contrast. I don't remember whatever fancy name they got for it, but it looks good, especially against the carbon fiber accents and the aluminum speaker grills in this car. The interior just works extremely well. Now, I will say the seats have 3 levels of heating, but they are not cooled. You got to pay extra for that. So in a car that is priced out at about $95,000, which this one is, $84,000 base price, you're getting pretty close to the 6-figure range. You shouldn't have to pay extra for ventilated seats. That's just my deal there. All right, the seats do not offer massage features either, but again, they're extremely comfortable. They're extremely beautiful, and you do have 3 levels of heating. Now, coming to the dash, we have a dual display system here. We're looking at about 12.3 inches of display for the instrument cluster and 14.9 inches display for the infotainment system. We have the wireless Apple CarPlay going there as well. Everything is extremely responsive and sharp. Most of your physical buttons are gone, especially for your air conditioner and climate control settings. You gotta, navigate your way around here. I do miss physical keys for that, but you do get used to it over a period of time. Soft touch material on the top of the dash, of course, and then coming lower, we do have, LED lights throughout the cabin, similar to what's found in the BMW i7, and of course, carbon fiber accents everywhere. High gloss carbon fiber really looks good in this interior. Um, Would have been nice if it was a dry carbon fiber as well. That would have looked great, just in my opinion. You do have hidden air conditioning vents, right? So you can either slide your finger up over here to open and close the vents, which is it's pretty cool how clean it looks, that you don't see just this huge grate sitting inside the dash. But what's tricky is adjusting the vents, because you can't really see which direction the vent slots are pointing. You have to kind of feel it, right? So there are little adjustments here throughout the cabin where you can adjust the airflow and the direction of the airflow. You get used to that as well. We have wireless charging here on the left side. The right side is just for additional storage. 2 cup holders, and of course, all your similar iDrive controls. We've covered that in plenty of BMWs before. Soft touch armrest here, of course, opens up to more storage. Everything you would expect in a BMW. Now, the steering wheel itself feels great in my hands. I do love how you have the M colors here and then the red notch of leather on the top there. The BMW logo with the blue accent going around it, because this is an EV. Aside from those logos, it's really hard to tell, unless you have a trained eye for cars, that this is an EV. So the steering wheel feels good in my hands. And of course, as I mentioned before, we do have that e-boost paddle behind the steering wheel. Only use it if you're ready, because it is something serious. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Door panels covered in soft touch materials. I love the aluminum speaker grills throughout. We have carbon fiber accents. Of course, we have LED illumination on the door panels as well. 2-position memory seating. Controls for your windows. I do wish the controls for the windows were done in like aluminum or something. And then of course we have storage on the bottom of the door. And again, the speaker grates just look extremely good in this vehicle. Overall, the comfort up here is really nice. We do have a huge panoramic moonroof. This doesn't open, but it is shaded, so you do have a thick electronic shade that covers it when you don't want natural light coming into the cabin. But I love being flooded with natural light in this vehicle. It's pretty nice, gives you a sense of open airness in the cabin as well. Coming to the rear, everything that you would expect from a BMW is there. We're looking at about around 37.5 inches of legroom in that second row. So you're going to be comfortable sitting back there. And of course, you have all the basic amenities that you could want in a BMW. So overall, this is an excellent vehicle. My best feature about this vehicle, in my opinion, is the fact that it just looks like a 5 Series. It just looks like a regular car. And I wish that was something other manufacturers understood. That's what people want, right? We just want something that looks normal. I don't need a car that screams, hey, I'm electric, right? Which is why Ford dropped that F-150 Lightning. It looks, for the most part, like a basic F-150. It doesn't look crazy, like, something Tesla would release. So, they're definitely speaking to me personally here by just releasing an EV that looks like a normal car. And of course, that e-boost button is insane. Okay, so that's going to give you plenty of smiles. It might not be the most efficient, but it's definitely going to put that smiles per mile factor on the car. 8-year warranty on the battery, 4 years, 60,000 mile, I think, bumper to bumper warranty on this one. Let me know what you guys think about this one in the comment section. It's just loaded with the tech, the dual screens, the head-up display. You got everything that you could want in a BMW. So let me know what you guys think about this one in the comment section. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And until next time, I'm Ben Wayne, the automotive reviewer that YouTube deserves. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out of here.